trading T.J. Hockenson, former Pro Bowl tight end, to the Minnesota Vikings. I don't love it. It's risky business when you're trading within the division.
Why would you trade him to someone else in the division, someone you're going to have to see twice a year?
That means nothing to me.
Was this the best offer that they got? And if it was, then you take it. It's a calculated risk. If this guy, Brad Holmes, if his best skill set is the draft, then let the man draft.
I'm not scared of T.J. Hockenson.
NFL trade deadline's officially over.
Yes.
The Detroit Lions, we were told, were heavily active. They were even active in the defensive back market as well. But the one move they actually pulled was trading T.J. Hockenson, former Pro Bowl tight end, to the Minnesota Vikings, who are within the division, for a second-round pick, a third-round pick, but they also gave up 2 fourths. Spinney, you're a fan of this one.
Yeah, I am.
Did you speak on it during BDE or?
A little bit, yeah. The news broke while we were on BDE, but yeah, I'm a fan of it. I don't think that as a team that's rebuilding, we didn't expect anything to come out of this year. We didn't really expect them to do anything next year as well. So I think having a $9 million tight end on your roster is not ideal. And then you look at what he would eventually have to sign for, which would be somewhere around $12 to $15 million a year. That is not ideal as well. And what happened is the Lions now have 2 first-rounders in 2023. They have 2 second-rounders in 2023. And you basically traded T.J. Hockenson and a 4th-round pick to get a second-rounder and move up from a 4th to a 3rd-rounder.
Well, you gave 2 4th-round picks.
Yeah, but you got a 3rd-round pick back.
That doesn't mean you didn't give up 2 4th-round picks, though.
One of them. Yeah. One of the 2 fourths is conditional.
The other 4th-round pick is conditional.
Did anyone catch the conditions on that?
Yes.
No?
Yes, Spencer said it.
The conditions are if the Vikings win a playoff game, it's a 5th-round pick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love it, I guess. I don't think it's risky business when you're trading within the division. Just always. Like, you could say it's a 4th-round pick. I mean, 2 of them obviously may bump to a 5th and make the playoffs, which, to be honest, is looking like that's going to be the case. So it's essentially a 5th-round pick, but it's just risky business, man. And I get, again, just that 4th-round pick. When was Amon-Ra St. Brown drafted?
4th.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you could find still value pieces in that. So say they use those 2 picks and they go and grab guys that just demolish us for years to come. I mean, the T.J. Hockenson thing, we're going to get abused by him regardless, the same way we've been abused by Irv Smith in the past, the same way we've been abused by Kyle Rudolph in the past, the same way we've been the Lions for the last 57 years, no big deal. But I don't know, man. It's never a good idea to trade within the division, in my opinion. Now, same can be said for the Vikings, right? They gave us both a 2nd round and a 3rd round, and maybe we turn those into something out cold. And you did say before the break you take the best package available.
Yes.
You always want that best package.
Yes.
That way that walk of shame isn't so bad. But, I mean, we'll see. The future's going to determine what this trade looks like. I got to be honest with you, I don't love it. I don't love the fact that we're giving away two assets along with TJ. I like getting stuff all the time. Don't get me wrong, but...
What do you think they could have got for T.J. Hockenson by himself?
I think... Well, I don't think you're probably going to get much for him by himself, like anywhere. I mean, maybe a second. You know what I'm saying? But...
I don't think so.
Just not within the division. That's my beef. You know what I'm saying? Just doing that within the division is just not ideal, in my opinion. JB, did you get to speak on that during any of the other 2 shows?
No, I didn't, but I mean, at first, initial reaction, I was kind of concerned why we gave up 2 fourths, but now looking back at it, it's not like we were going to really do anything with those 2 4th-round picks anyway, so I guess I'm all right with it as of right now, but like I said, why would you trade him to someone else in the division, someone you're going to have to see twice a year? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why you would do that.
Yeah.
I don't care, honestly. I do not care at all that they traded him in the division. That means nothing to me.
Why?
Because what does it matter? I'm not scared of T.J. Hockenson. If the Vikings wanted him, they could have signed him in free agency anyways, and then you wouldn't have gotten anything for him.
I mean, we're guaranteed to get him through free agency. I mean, they may have pursued him, but I don't know how many guys are actually picking up the phone. I couldn't even name you an area code in Minnesota. I was gonna say when they see that whatever area code, but it's Minnesota. If Florida's calling you, Tennessee, Texas, like those tax-free states, you know what I'm saying? You get a little bit of extra breaks there, picking up for them before you picking up for Minnesota.
I don't know. Minnesota's got a pretty good team.
They do.
So if you want to win.
You had your hand up, though?
Yeah, I just said I don't care about them trading to the division because at the end of the day, was this the best offer that they got? And if it was, then you take it. 10 times out of 10, It's the best offer. I don't think he's going to hurt the Lions in any significant way. And if he does, it's a calculated risk. Like you said, the second and third round picks, who knows what they can be and what they can become. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, if this guy, Brad Holmes, if his best skill set is the draft, then let the man draft.
Yeah.
It's that simple. So I'm all for gathering future assets in the draft because it sounds like to me that's his skill, his forte. So let him shine there.
Yeah. Yeah, and with all the pieces we've seen, even with Hockenson not performing at a great level, the offense has still been there. In those first 3 games, Hockenson didn't go out there and make a bunch of plays or have hundreds of yards and touchdowns, and the offense was still performing at a high level. So if this is, a vital piece to your offense, something that you can't live without, something that this offense will never be the same without, I understand that, but that's not what he's shown to be. He's shown, he can have a big game. Yeah, he can play well. But when he's not playing well, there were times where the offense was just as good. Yeah, he had that one game this year where he popped off because there's nobody else there. And so they're feeding him the ball. But in those first couple games when they were the top offense in the NFL, Hockenson was a minor factor of that. Mm-hmm. It's still, like I said, he's still a good player. He can make plays. But I saw it in the chat earlier, I don't know who it said, with the emergence of Amon-Ra and as a slot receiver, you don't need a $9 to $15 million tight end. You just don't.
Yeah, I'm never really tripping off the money too, especially in terms of you look at the market for wide receivers nowadays. You're Christian Kirk, and I get it. I'm the one who always breaks stuff down. Well, he's not getting 25 a year, but in some scenarios, it kind of seems like that. At 15, that's a discount for a pass catcher, and T.J. Hockenson's a damn good pass catcher. And one of the things I'm excited about, shout out to my guy Adam in the Morning Woodward Show. You guys catch him from 8 to 10 daily, Monday through Friday. I was so sick of hearing the comparisons to Eric Ebron. They're not the same. They're Hockenson was way better, but he's gone now. The
stats are pretty similar.
They aren't. You have the first 2 years you can make stats similar, but then you also have to factor in that one guy's playing with Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford. The other guy's playing with Jeff Driscoll, freaking David Blau, and then 1 year Stafford, and he actually went to the Pro Bowl. We had him, And Hockenson, he's a good player. We never, for some reason, just couldn't seem to utilize him in this Ben Johnson offense. He still, though, was a factor on the field in the same way I think we made the point for DeAndre Swift last week. Even if you watch the tape on this last Miami's game, there was plays where, they made sure to, factor in or tune in where Hawk is, and that opens up lanes for Swift, and then he had that touchdown. It's just certain scenarios like that. But we never utilize, you're 100% correct. He wasn't being utilized as Ben Johnson offense to, the best of his abilities. And you had to get something for him at that point. He's going to walk. If he walks, you get a comp pick, yeah. And the highest comp pick you get is a third rounder. We got ultimately a second rounder and a third rounder out of that. And like Sus said, if Brad Holmes' strength is in the draft, then that's the asset you want to give him. Especially in, let's be real about it, a shitty organization like Detroit, there aren't many big-name guys that are going to come here.
Yeah.
They're just not. So you want to build your team through the draft. As all NFL teams and all actually outside of maybe baseball teams would like to do is build through the draft because you get those guys on those lesser contracts and you could then go to free agency for the veteran pieces or pieces you may be missing. Mm-hmm. It doesn't even have to be free agency either. The other benefit of having these picks, Robert Quinn, 4th round pick, he got the exchange for. The linebacker that we wanted out of Chicago, Roquan Smith, second and a fifth. Second and a fifth. You also have more assets to do that. So ultimately, it could benefit us, but I just hope that they swing and miss on those 2 fourths. Well, one's going to be a 5th because they're going to make the playoffs.
Yes, and
they're more than likely going to win this division. So yeah. I don't get me wrong. I don't hate it. I just don't love it. It's not I'm not stroking Holmes over it. It's just it's something that had to be done.
Yeah, I think it's a good move by Holmes and what he did. He moved on from a guy that, like I said, he's at the end. I like Hockenson as a player. I think he's a great player. Like I said earlier, he wasn't being utilized correctly in the Lions' offense. They didn't need a high-powered tight end in that offense to have success. He was at the end of his rookie deal. They would have had to keep him on. His final extension would have been $9.3 million. And then if they wanted to keep him, they would have had to sign him to a $14 million deal. And that's not something I'd like to see out of you talk about building around a young quarterback. building around a rookie, rebuilding an offense, rebuilding a team. You need a lot on the defensive side of the ball, a lot. And I don't think a $9 to $15 million tight end is financially responsible to have on this team at that point.
So next year we have 2 second-rounders, 2 third-rounders, 2 first-rounders.
Yes.
Maybe you could flirt with that Will Anderson route.
You can flirt with it.
Move up and grab one of those.
We're gonna look at. I found a great graphic on Twitter explaining what the Lions could potentially have going into next year. All of the different resources they could have available to them to either attack players in free agency or build this team off of the draft, off of different things. There are a lot of different avenues they can.
Yeah.
And Brad Holmes is giving himself the financial freedom to build this team how he sees fit.